It's always a great feeling when you discover a rare, hidden gem that's excellent to boot, that nobody literally knows about or talks about, especially when it's based on a console you didn't know that much about to begin with, as I never had a SEGA SATURN as a kid, I had a PlayStation. But today's game we're going to take a look at is the second in the series of the excellent shoot-'em-up shooter, Cotton 2, released in 1998 by Success. Released in '97 on Sega's STV hardware, months later it received an almost arcade-perfect port to the Sega Saturn. Now you can tell right away the graphics of this game are excellent, and like I said, it remained like an arcade-perfect port to the Saturn. Also, you'll notice in the game when I say queued 'em up, this is a prime example of that. But let's backtrack a bit. The original Cotton game in the series was very good too. It was a side-scrolling shooter. Nothing to this extent where it had been perfected, but it was great. Now there were a couple spin-off sequels. The one that gets a lot of talk and is very, very rare and expensive is Panorama Cotton, released exclusively on the Mega Drive in late '94. It is the rarest game in the series and one of the most rare games on the Mega Drive. It's notorious for fetching high prices at auctions, especially when it's included with this commemorative teacup. Yeah, I know, a teacup. Well, the reason I bring this game up is that Panorama Cotton totally changed the gameplay and made it more like Space Harrier or Super Thunderblade. Stylistically, it also stands out for having lost the melancholy undertones that the other two games had. Instead, it simply strives to be uniquely psychedelic, and it succeeds in my opinion. It's nowhere near as good as Cotton 2 or the original, definitely for collectors only. While I don't really care about the story in the game, let me go ahead and get it out of the way for the sake of the review. The Kingdom of Pumpkin has lost the Blue Water Willow, which was stolen by Apley, another witch that resided in the kingdom. She wanted to use its magical power for her own use. However, mysteriously, a tornado flung Apley into the neighboring forest and she loses the Blue Water Willow. Definitely one of the most unique shooters I've ever played. It's part shooter, part action platformer, and a little RPG in there, and even a bit of fighting game. You have your firing button, a capture or throw button which you can take enemies and throw them back, and a magic button. As you defeat enemies, they'll leave jewels which you collect. If you collect yellow, it raises your experience, which you build in order to have more powerful shots. You also build it by destroying enemies as well. If you shoot at the jewels, they change colors, yielding red, blue, green, and silver coins. Red is fire, blue is ice, green is wind, and silver is a light laser ray. You can store up to 3 shot types at one time, which are in the lower left corner of your screen. If you have no power up, you just use your standard shot. The game has interesting control features which kind of separate it from the rest of the shooter pack, but at the end of the day, it's a shooter, there's no getting around it. Now, as to why I say it's like a 2D fighter at the time, if you input different like half circle commands, you can do different shots like a spread gun or hold on to it as a shield. You can grab virtually every enemy in the game and even some bosses, with or without it being sealed up. For example, the first boss holds weapons you can grab out of his hands and throw at him, dealing serious damage. The game isn't that long, it only takes you about 45 minutes to complete. Cotton 2 is 7 stages of fantasy-based shooting mayhem that gets a little repetitive after a while, but does not fail to charm. It is a bit short, but it's definitely worthwhile. Please do not buy this game if you're looking for a hardcore shooter along the lines of Gradius or Thunder Force, as this game does not require too much skill to beat and isn't short in length like I said, but if you're looking for something that breaks from the norm and isn't ashamed to be a little cute at the same time, all means, check out Cotton 2, one of the best games on the Saturn that's definitely overlooked and definitely deserves a lot more credit. This is Hibiki Quickie. Check it out next time where we're going to check out the Virtual Boy. Hey guys, you can follow me on Twitter at the HibikiTMD. Check out the HibikiTMD Facebook group for everything retro gaming, pro wrestling podcasts, and everything in between. Thanks for watching another video, and thanks for stopping by on HibikiTMD.
Hey, what is going on?